this to the first thing that you said, which is that, you had declared all intentions to run for the presidency. And this is one of the things that you are riding very heavily on. Link the two. What would be the difference with all of this that we are seeing, where there's 91% of our revenue,
tax revenue,
going to debt repayment? What would be the difference with the Jimi Wanjigi presidency if we see this problem today? Why would it be Jimmy to solve the problem? Because we can lament Jimmy, but at some point we drop the sackcloth, right?
So what happens is this. Kenyans need to understand that this state is a bankrupt state. We are bankrupt. All right? And this burden doesn't go away. I can give you the figures to 2040. Right? And somewhere along the way, it's going to crash. It's going to crash, and it's going to be such a threat to our lives. You can look at any country that has defaulted, the damage that comes to people's lives. You saw a lot of Ghanaians, for example, in South Africa. And they never used to be Ghanaians there, now being chased away because of xenophobia. The problem, they went there because of the collapse when they defaulted. People had no opportunities. They fled. There were never such a big population in South Africa. So here, we are in a bankrupt state, and we must accept that reality. We must. And recognize that as long as we are paying this, there's no change to our lives. We're fooling ourselves. We're sweeping the dirt under the rug. Now, my opinion and my assertion and our party is very clear. What we term as odious debt shall not be paid by a Kenyan anymore. What cannot be accounted for the sovereign that did not pass our laws shall not be paid. So we shall immediately not pay this debt. We shall suspend it, give ourselves breathing time so that Kenyans can have an audit of this debt officially by a government and come back and show them what has been happening.
Show who?
Show Kenyans.
How does that play out for Kenya on the global scale?
How
does that play out on the private scale here? Because
how it works is this. Just like your bank, when they are loaning you money or you're opening an account, they do a KYC. Know your client. Anybody who has loaned Kenya money should know our laws.
Right.
This is our Bible. All right? If it did not go according to this, it is not sovereign to 60 million Kenyans. So if you did not do your due diligence, it is solely up to you. Solely up to you. And I don't think there's any country or any creditor that is going to say a new government that takes power that is choosing to not take over a burden until they audit it is doing something unfair. Is doing something untoward. It would not even take maybe a maximum of 3 months, maybe 6 months, okay, for us to audit this debt. You must remember, we've been talking about audit for the last 3 to 4 years, and we never see it. Even the current minister said he's going to show us an audit. In the MOU with ODM, it is there. We'll never see it. We never see it. Yet it's a provision of the Auditor General. And she has come out publicly to say the difficulty she's having with it. Now, we never see this audit. We shall audit this debt. So we'll suspend. And when we suspend, look at it this way.
What would happen, if I can?
Yes.
What would happen in the case of this suspense, whereby debt payment is not being made because you're checking the numbers? So what happens with that, and how then does life change for anybody?
Well, it means immediately for Kenyans, that money which was going out becomes available for their lives. All right? So if 3.2 was going out in the year 2027, 2028, if that is the amount of debt going out, it's now available. If it's 2.8, it's now available. Right? Doesn't that mean we can fund our entire budget without borrowing? But look at what we're adding. We are saying that we have what is called a fifth agenda. The fifth agenda has 5 items. That's why we call it fifth. We shall not pay odious debt, which means we have enough money available for education, from primary school to high school to Tibet. We've costed that at about 300 billion shillings. It's available from the taxes that you pay, right? We are saving 2.8 to 3.2 trillion.
Right.
It's available. We've costed, in fact, the government has costed universal healthcare. I saw you extensively talking about it the other day.
Yeah.
It's 180 billion. Okay? That means we have availability of 180 billion. No Kenyan shall pay from their pocket. SHA. Your ID will guarantee you free medical care. All I know we need to do is probably reinstitute a new ID so that they are digitally accessible. 3, and this is very important. One of the biggest burdens to the cost of our lives has been VAT. Has been VAT because it cuts across all goods. We intend to remove VAT, scrap it, and introduce a 5% sales tax. 5% sales tax, no more VAT, which means that Kenyans have a saving of about 11%.
Okay.
Right? On the cost of goods. But the most, also another carrot, is that now we are not going to borrow from the domestic market. And we are going to sit down with them about their debt. We're going to talk to them. We're going to ask them whether they followed our laws. And we have a plan for them. We have a plan for them. Right? That is going to benefit 60 million Kenyans. Not the few that have been extracting from us.
So the idea is that
so that means that you don't borrow.
Domestic banks should be lending to
development. That is the law. So if they are lending for something else, that's not the law. That is not the law. That means we are not tied to paying it. And I think you need to understand, domestic banks, it's our money that we have given them to as deposits. They then loan us back as a taxpayer and then take interest from us, from our taxes, to pay them and make huge profits. Look at the 10 biggest companies in Kenya, profit-wise. 8 are banks. Only 2, Safaricom and East African Breweries, are separate to that. 8 are banks. From what? How are banks making money and everybody here is struggling without money? So there is an issue here. There's a big issue. So we are saying that now that government is not going to be borrowing from them, all right, people can access capital at very low interest rates. And that is the goal.
It sounds like it might be